I'm a very inquisitive person by nature. I love stories, real life stories, reading biographies and hearing about what makes successful people tick. I wanted to sit with individuals who inspire you and I, look into their core beliefs, habits and life journey and purpose. We're currently in a world of social media where everyone is putting their best on display. I want people to let us know what it's really like when you feel like you're not winning. What sacrifices have they had to make in order to win? I hope their stories will inspire, encourage and motivate you not to give up on your dreams. We are going to be digging deep on My Story with Esther. We need to go back to Yes Media.
Yes.
Why am I laughing so much?
I don't know.
But
it was a funny concert.
It was,
weird.
wasn't it?
It was such a weird day. I can't believe you remember it.
I do. I think because of the incident of, I was thinking about everything, how I met you, how I met DJ Bass, and I was like, how ironic is it that it was actually on the same day?
Yeah.
Because I think that kind of brought us all together, because like, what kind of concert is this? What's going on here?
Yeah, no one knew what was happening.
And then that's when John told me that, oh, he actually said it. She's going to do big things.
Oh, did he say that?
He did say that. That you need to look out for her. She's an amazing playwright and blah, blah, blah. And then, yeah, you were a bit quiet. You were just like,
I was quiet, yeah.
But you were saying that you were going to get into a film.
Yeah, so I think the reason why I went there with John was that the guy that owned Yes Media had an idea for a Nollywood film, and so he was looking for a writer, and so he contacted me and he was like, okay, write a treatment. So I wrote a treatment for him, but that just nothing happened. Yeah, so that was like my first possible Nollywood taste.
Okay, but you'd written a play before that?
Yeah, so by this time, like I had written 2 plays. I had 2 plays out, and I was just getting into film. I was just writing Gone Too Far into a movie. So I was in the process of doing that.
So Gone Too Far was already out around that?
The play was out, yeah. So the first thing I ever did was Gone Too Far as a play.
Okay.
So that was on at the Royal Court Theatre.
Yeah.
And then it did like the Hackney Empire.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did it feel like to have like your first play?
Well, then at that time, because I did a course at the Royal Court Theatre, so they were looking for young black writers, and so they put this call out, and then I saw it and I applied. I did the course. It was like a 10-week course. I did that, and then afterwards we were encouraged to write a play. I wrote Gone Too Far, and they were like, they do this like Young Writers Festival every 2 years. So that was the year they were looking for plays for the festival. Okay. So the first time I wrote the play and they decided to put the play on, I didn't even think about money, because it was like my first ever experience of having something produced. So when we didn't talk about money. It was just like, okay, we're going to do your play. I was like, oh my gosh, someone's going to do my play. Like, finally, this is going to happen. And so after the play went on, then they were like, oh, you know, you get paid for this. I got a small fee because I didn't have an agent then. So it's like literally, but it was like a kind of like, here's a little check for your good work, hard work. And at that time I had a full-time job. So I was like,
this is not bad.
This is just pocket money, but that kind of kick-started my career. So it was, you know, when you start off, sometimes it doesn't matter how much you get paid, because it's about that stepping stone, and I was in the right place. Like the Royal Court is ideally one of the best places to start off with, because of the nature of the venue, and also because of the, you know, like everyone knows it's a venue that supports young writers and new writing. So yeah, did well, had fun. It was a great experience, and obviously it was professionally produced and stuff. And then after that, I just became a playwright. I got an agent, and then I got other commissions, and I'd write more plays and had plays on.
But when did you feel it was time to leave full-time work?
Mine was really, because obviously, so I was working full-time as a housing officer. And then like everything I did in terms of writing was all, it was still a passion. So I got used to having a full-time job and having a wage. Whereas like with writing, it was like, okay, you get a little bit of money to write your first draft, but you know, it's like you don't get paid on time and stuff like that. And but then it just got to a point where just working I wasn't doing much work, and I wasn't able to focus on like writing. Like I would rush stuff. I wouldn't like focus on what I was doing. And so it was only when Gone Too Far was being made into a film, and the day that it was literally a week before we were going to be on set to shoot it. That's when I quit my job, and I was like, yes, that's it. Because also, I mean, I was a bit naive. I was like, I'm making a movie. I don't need a full-time job no more. I don't need your money.
You could have taken a sabbatical.
I should have. That should have been the easy thing to do, but I didn't. I just assumed that like making a film, because I knew there wasn't much money in theatre, but you know, you assume that there's a lot of money in film. So when we were making the first, I was like, oh, I'm going to make my first feature. I'm going to make money. I don't need to worry.
So did you get an advance or anything?
No, because also again, film in the UK is, especially as a first-time filmmaker, that's subsidised. So our film was produced by the BFI, and so we got funding from the BFI to make it, which meant that we're not getting money. Like it's a low-budget film, and the fees are small. And again, I just think the hype of like, oh my God, I'm getting my first film made was something that kind of just made me go, it's gonna make money in the cinema. Like that was all my mentality, and that's the way I thought. And it didn't all work out that way.
So when you did your film, what did success look like to you then? Was that your thing about, oh my God, I'm gonna do a film, this is now my path to being the successful person I want to be? Is that how you saw it? Or
no, because like I've got like a goal. I know where I want to be, where I know that once I hit this point, then that to me is like I've hit success.
What is that point?
I'm not gonna. I can't share that. Sorry, but there's a level of work that I feel. No, there's a level of work, and there's a level of things that I want to do, and things that I want to write and produce. That I feel that once I've made those type of films, then I'm like I've become successful.
But what is the picture though? Is it that I can afford to pay someone's school fees? Or I can live in a certain house? No, it's not even money.
It's about the type of stories that I can tell, and what I'm able to tell, and the narrative that's it's about the story at the end of the day. Because for me, it's the creative part, and it's about. Like with Gone Too Far, it was a story that we got to make that was based on my life experience. You know, it's about me growing up in London and the experience that I faced, and it spoke to a lot of people. Even to today, I get emails from people from all over the world. Like it's on Netflix in Brazil, and I get loads of Brazilians who message me and go, "I've just watched this. This story is my life." So for me, things like that, it's like it's a legacy. So you've created a piece of work that's kind of. So far, it stood the test of time. It's hard to tell stories, and it's hard to tell stories that speak to a wide audience, and especially when you're telling stories that have Black people at the forefront, and you're telling our stories. Now things are changing because of the internet, so people argue back, and that narrative, we're able to,
There's a balance.
There is, and also there is a sense of, usually in stories that have Black people in it, there's a white savior and there's a white hero, and they come along and they're the ones that save the day. And even if it's about a Black character, it's not their story. Whereas, with Moonlight and a few other films, we are able to tell our stories and our narratives, but still, it's still a struggle, because if I want to pitch an idea that has a Black character in it, someone, a lot of people, money people, investors will turn around and go, well, unless it's Idris Elba, for example, or Viola Davis, where's the bankable stars? Where are, and things like that. So that has an impact, but it has an impact on the type of stories you can tell, because I could come up with an idea and someone could go, oh, but we don't know any stars that can do this role, that could bring back our returns on our money, so therefore this story is not worth telling. So I want to get to a stage where I'm able to tell those stories without someone coming to me and saying, oh, but you want to tell a story about a 50-year-old Nigerian mum, but she is the, it's not that she is the story, and someone turn around and go, oh, but we don't, who's going to play that role? Who's going to play that role that's going to be universal? In Nigeria, and that was where, I guess for me, wanting to work in Nigeria was that I wouldn't have to have those conversations. I wouldn't have to have the conversations about,
who's going to play that? Because you can already see it. Because also, you're not having a conversation about whether or not a character is Black or not, and whether or not you have to change that. Do people actually have that conversation?
People do, yes.
Wow.
It's changing. It is changing, because also people want to see different stories. So now people are more open to the possibility of actors being Black, and with the success of like Idris Elba and Malachi Kirby and Daniel Kaluuya and stuff like that, there is all these people are open, their minds are open now, because they know that yeah, you can put a black character as a lead and you will get your money back.
But talking about Nigeria, you wrote 50.
The original script for 50.
Oh, the original script.
Original script.
Tell us what happened.
It's so hard to get into it. I just don't. I'm one of those people that I'm just like, I'd rather my work speak for itself rather than kind of talk about bad experiences or experiences that haven't gone well. But it was an eye-opener. Let me put it as that. I'm going to put a positive spin on it.
Okay, tell me.
And I'm going to say that working on 50 was an eye-opener. I was very green, I was very young, and green in the sense that like, I'm a kind of, when I'm passionate about something, I go all guns blazing. So when someone promises me the world, I'm just like, yeah, cool, don't worry, don't worry,
and you say they promised you the world?
Yeah, like,
they promised you the world.
When someone says to you, don't worry, you're not going to get paid that much for this, but in return, there's going to be a future of this, there's going to be that, there's going to be that. I'm just like, cool, I don't mind, I'll do it for practically nothing. Like, and that was part of the problem. And again, growing up, I've had to learn that it's not just about, if someone approaches me now and they offer all these things and they go, oh, but we're not going to pay you that amount of money because whatever reason or whatever excuse they have, I can't sit there and accept it. No, there's contracts.
But at the time, how did you feel?
At the time, I was just so excited to...
No, when they flipped the script, because you were excited to go into it.
I was excited to go into it, yeah. I wrote the script, and then just a lot of drama happened between... It's too much to get into, but a lot of drama happened, and...
did that make you feel a certain way towards the
Of
Nigerian
course it
market?
did, completely, because I felt exploited a little bit, and I felt that there was, you see here, you get exploited here when you're new. However, there's still a level of respect for your talent. So if you've got talent, yeah, you might not get paid what you should be getting paid because they say to you, okay, you don't have experience. Like with television now, if you don't have any television experience, there's a level-based amount of money where you have to start with. However, once you gain that experience, the money goes up because you've got a track record. Now in Nigeria, you could have a track record, but depending on who you're working with, people will still want to exploit that. And that's the problem that I had working on that project, which was about the exploitation. And I just felt that, like, it's one of those things that I just think it wasn't a nice working experience.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't feel respected. Oh, it's fine because it's a learning experience. And for me, I don't get mad about things like that because I'm just like, I learned so much.
But it hasn't put you off going to Nigeria?
No, not at all, but I'm just a lot more, my eyes are open now.
All your senses, everything.
I've not worked on anything that's in Nigeria, apart from a project that I did with the British Council Nigeria. Okay. And I worked with filmmakers that I knew, that I was friends with. And so again, there's a level of understanding and there was, we worked collaboratively. But I get loads of like producers from Nigeria contacting me all the time about, oh, we've got this project. And I'm like, nope, if the money's not right, sorry. Like, and it's not cocky at all. It's literally, you have to value yourself.
We can talk about your work all day because I am proud. I am so proud of you. Hence why you're here.
Oh, thank you.
And because of my journey, I just wanted to know how you are doing. So how are you doing on a day-to-day basis?
How am I doing? Oh, I'm getting better.
What is happiness to you?
Happiness to me is setting myself goals and achieving them. And I think now, especially with social media, especially with the way the world is, like I think time goes, and also the older you get, the more you're like, time goes quickly. So quickly. And you're just
before you know it, your birthday's here again. I just did it the other day.
And the older you get, the more you realise how much time you do waste. Like, I am a huge panicker. Like sometimes I set myself unrealistic goals. Yeah. So, like I'm like, I have to achieve this by this. And then when it doesn't happen, I get frustrated. But for me, I've gotten better at being organised. Okay. I think that was a huge thing of like, okay, now that I'm more of an organised person, I set my days out, I know what I need to do. And happiness to me, I guess also is just my family, like the love of my family, the support of my family. Yeah. That's been
So your mum just became a chief?
Yes, in her mosque.
Are you practicing Muslim as well?
No.
Are you a Christian?
Yeah.
Okay. So they don't find that.
No, they don't. They're fine.
But were you brought up
myself and my younger sister
are both Christian?
Well, we were born into a Muslim family, and my mum started practicing like Islam it was when her mum passed away. that was, I don't know, 1997, 98, I think. And so, and then my sisters all converted, and like they practice and their kids practice.
Yeah.
But then myself and my younger sister, we don't. Like, so, yeah. But my parents are all right. Like my mum's not, she's, as long as you believe in God, as long as you have faith, as long as you pray, for her, that's what's important.
So you're a practicing Christian?
Yes.
Getting
slowly
so you
getting
pray
back into it. I pray, yes, yeah.
What is your most amazing testimony to date?
My amazing testimony today, I don't know.
It's every day for me.
Yeah.
There's so many instances that happen.
That's a good question.
And you're just like, that's you, God. You're working. Yeah. But I think for me, the most memorable one was probably the way LA happened.
Oh, okay. When you went to go and
I was like, that can only be God.
Okay.
The way I got the phone call, the way the steps was ordered, because I was fed up at work. So for me, to date, that could be.
So you're talking about, but for me, I just think mine is just like, I've just realised, and maybe it is the older you get, you realise how much, like I feel like I've got such a blessed family, and I feel like that's only God. Like my mum, my dad, my sisters, like my siblings and my nieces and nephews, like that's my support system, and without them, I don't think that, and I can't see myself in anybody else's. I'm gonna get a bit teary, but I can't see myself in anybody else's family. Like, you know, when you look at other people and like you're like, yo, yeah, that person's got that, and that person, but I'm like, no, like I couldn't have picked any other people for them to be like, to be related to, and that's God, you know. Like I couldn't have picked a better mum or a better dad and or siblings, and you know, and I feel like that's again in terms of my work relationships, because of the relationships I've got with my friends and because I've got with my family, that's what I base it on. Like I don't want to ever go into a work environment that isn't similar to the love that I share with my family. And even a lot of my friends that I work with, like the ones that I do loads of like projects over and over, they have become my family. So I can only work with people that are like that. And if we don't share in the same ethos, if we, you know, if you're gonna try and cheat me out of a deal, I can't do that. And my family, and you know, my family they're there. They're supportive.
Who inspires you the most?
Who inspires me? My sisters, my older sisters, and my younger sister actually, because they're just so. Not only are they independent, like my two older sisters are great parents, like they're great mothers, and my mom and my dad. But like my sisters are just. They've gone through a lot and they've come out through the other side, and they've raised amazing children. And then for my younger sister, who at times she reminds me of me in terms of like her passion and stuff, but then she's a lot more independent than me. Like she's a lot more like, I know what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go and do it. And I'm kind of like, I need someone to kind of reassure me that this is a good idea and things like that. And so, but just having those women around me, they inspire me, and they make me understand that anything's possible. Like this, you know, you get a lot that being a woman, it's so hard, it's so this, it's so that. And they show me that, nah, there's no glass ceilings, there's none of that.
You go for whatever you want.
Completely.
Fantastic.
Yeah. You got me talking about 50 that I didn't want to talk about.
Yeah, so. I love that.
I'm going to get fair emails like, my mum.
No, but it's your true experience, right? So which is exactly what it's about. Being expressive and just talking about you. Because I feel that why I'm doing this is, and why I'm talking to you is because I feel that people are hiding what the true reality of this journey is.
But also you don't want to be like, whenever, like I don't hide, I talk about my bad experience, I talk about the good. I let people know that like this journey is a hard journey. I let people know the good, I let people know the bad. But sometimes when you're talking about the bad, people go, oh, shut up, like don't tell everybody, like you shouldn't be talking about that, you shouldn't be so negative. So sometimes people try and be positive because
it's good to be positive.
Don't want to hear the negative. People are like, you shouldn't let people know that. You shouldn't let people know that you're struggling.
No.
I just like, and this is why I always say, like in this industry, I talk about when I don't get paid that much, or the experiences where I didn't hardly make any money in a year, because you don't expect to see me in first class if I've made only £4,000 in 1 year.
No, that's all your money gone.
Like,
why would you even do that?
Don't expect that. Don't expect me to be, you know, sometimes people will see me on the train, like people that know me or seen like my work, like, why are you on the train? What do you mean, why am I on the train? Like, do I have a chauffeur? Like, of course I'm on the train. Like, what do you expect? But people think that because they've seen you on television or they've seen you do an interview, or you know, you've gone to a red carpet event, all of a sudden you're on the same level as all those people who've been doing it 20, 30 years in. Some celebs are 30 years in, 40 years in. They've made their money. They've made money that's going to last them and their children's children. Me, I haven't made enough for myself.
You're starting.
let alone
your children's
my family,
children.
then my children's children. So why am I going to front? Like, I can't. It's not.
It's just a lie, isn't it? I can't do that. I'd rather be honest with my journey.
It's not worth it. Yeah, and you have to. And also, I think it's like, I mentor a lot of young people, and I always find that one of the questions they always ask is, so how much did you make, or how much is? And it's just like, I always have to remind them, if you're coming into this thinking about money, especially in the first few years, you ain't making any. So like, I encourage them, don't quit your job. You know, even if you don't want a full-time job, get yourself a part-time job, have an income, make sure you're making money. You know, don't all of a sudden you're getting invited to an event, you're gonna go and get a rental car, you're gonna do all of this. Don't do all of that stuff, because you've got time to build that up. Like, of course, I can't wait for the day where I can have my chauffeur, where I can do first class every single
Just
flight.
don't forget me.
But, I won't. I can't wait for that. But at the end of the day, I'm not at that stage yet, and I'm not going to pretend and live that lifestyle. And you know, no.
What's your favourite quote?
Why has it gone out of my head now? But my favourite quote is, it's about a story.
Yeah.
It's about telling your own story, telling your own narrative. So you don't wait for someone else. But I don't know the exact words for it.
Okay,
so
yeah.
But it's like, it's something along the lines of like, that it's just like, you need to, like, you shouldn't wait around for someone to tell your story. You should tell your story. Like, we shouldn't wait around for someone to tell our narrative. Like, it's our duty to tell our narrative, and that's one of my favourite quotes.
And that's what you're trying to achieve.
That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah.
Love it. If you could go back to any age, what age would you go back to, and why? 26, I think.
Okay, why?
Because that's when it all started. But I think that if I went back slightly and I knew what I knew now, I'd do some things slightly different.
So like what? Just in terms of like my career, like I'd make smarter choices.
You make that smart choice.
I'd make some smart choices. Yeah.
Okay.
But there's no going back and there's no going forward.
No,
like
because everything was meant to happen.
Yeah, everything's meant to be. Like there's not the good and the bad. It was meant to happen.
Because if it didn't happen then, you wouldn't be
where I am now. Yeah. So.
But your sister does music, right?
Yeah, she's a great songwriter as well.
Are you into music as well?
No, I can't sing. but I'm working with her on a musical. Do you write with her? We work together. So we're working on a musical together. So
a Nigerian musical.
No, she doesn't want to do a Nigerian musical. But it's no. I have a Nigerian musical idea that I want to do.
Yeah.
That's separate to the project that I'm working with her. No, hers is more of a story that she wants to tell. So I'm doing it that way.
We need to dig into this, you know.
Yeah,
because we're just kind of looking at it. It looks different from the type of pita bread I normally have.
No, it's fine.
It's toasted pita bread. You go first.